Hello everyone, my name is Tim Logson and this is my second lesson and I will be doing it on consumer health for ages 6 to 8th grade. And so the first question I want to ask the room is, does anyone know what a consumer is? Yes, Kevin? What's a consumer? Someone that buys something from a store? Okay, that's a good start. And so the actual definition of a consumer is someone who purchases goods and services. This, being a good consumer, is being careful about how you spend your money and what you spend your money on. And so today I'm going to be teaching you guys that. And so I have the perfect game plan to always being a good consumer. And so the first thing to do when being a consumer is to do your research. And so you need to look at large companies and small companies that are selling the same product that you want. And then you need to find out if they're reputable sources or non-reputable sources, in which reputable sources are obviously sources you can trust or stores that you can trust, like Walmart, Costco, or like Sam's Club, in which that you know you'll get your product and it won't be fake and it'll be exactly what it says. But non-reputable sources are often like online stores, and they claim that they have the item for whatever price, but it may be a fake or a knockoff of what it actually claims to be. In which, in order to find out if the source is reputable or not, you would have to like read the details and ask questions if necessary, and then determine whether you want to buy that product from them. In which, if it's a non-reputable source, you most likely do not want to buy a product. And then the next question you want to ask yourselves is if your purchase hurts the environment. And so I always like to give the example of buying a monster truck. Everyone wants that big monster truck, but it gets horrible gas mileage, and then it also emits terrible things into the pollution, into the environment. Sorry. And so a better option would be to get more like an eco-friendly car or an electric car, in which it could still cost the same price, but it helps the environment more. And so lastly, after doing all your research, the ultimate goal should be to get the best price and for you to be happy. And so after doing all that research and looking at all different companies selling the same product, you should be getting the best price for your buck. And so we're going to move past that into talking about different types of consumers in which you think are good. And so I'll give you 3 examples, and I'm going to read them off here shortly, and then you're going to have to decide and pick which examples you think are the best. So example 1 is buying whatever you want, whenever you want, just because you want it. The second example would be being cautious on what you spend your money on, in that you're doing your research before. And then the third one is just spending your money on necessary goods, like food, water, and shelter. And so what do you guys think of that? Cole? You think the first one's kind of selfish in that they can just buy everything and have no consequences for it? Okay. Kelsey, what do you think? You like the second and third examples and think like if you could tie them together, that would be the perfect consumer? Well, I would agree with you, Kelsey, in that both examples 2 and 3, if you combine them, just paying simply for your food, water, and shelter, and then making educated decisions on what else to buy is the best idea for a good consumer. And so the next topic we're going to be talking about is different types of advertisement. In that there are many types, and do you guys know any types? Kevin? The TV? Okay. Kyle? You heard it on the radio. That's a good example. Joe? You read it in that newspaper right there? Great. And so those are 3 types of advertisement, as well as like telemarketers. If you're ever sitting at the dinner table and someone calls you trying to sell you something, that's a way of advertisement. Or like a magazine, or even like Kohl's with the 20% off poster in front of their store. Well, if they didn't have it, then the odds of you going into this store is very less than when there is an advertisement saying there's 20% off, because who doesn't like 20% off? And so I have 2 videos for you to watch, and that they're both different advertisements.
Kiss of cherry flavor. This isn't going to work. Oh, it's going to work.
And so that commercial is more of a very explained commercial in which you see Pepsi right away is sponsoring Kiss, which is a celebrity, and that helps their company brand and advertisement. And so the second commercial I'm going to show you is one of more of a harder one in which you don't know what the product is being sold. But the whole case of this advertisement is to get your attention and make you smile. So there's this one.
Here come the newspaper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. No, no, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press me, they'll find it safe. How that you know we go. I know I don't know. Let's get up and go. Here come the newspaper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Still love you like that. Here come the newspaper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer.
All right, and so that's the second one in which its actual advertisement was just selling water. And so the whole idea of that advertisement was just so that it would grab your attention and make you smile and laugh. And so now for homework, since you guys have seen my two examples, I want you guys to get into groups of 3 or 4 with your friends or your close neighbors. And I want you guys to pick any type of advertisement you want. It could just be a simple radio article or advertisement, like 20 seconds long. Or it could be like you're writing your own newspaper article in which you're advertising a product in which you want to sell. And so that is your homework for tonight, and that we're going to move on to our third topic, which is healthcare. And so the first thing to talk about in healthcare is your medical insurance. And so does anyone know what insurance is? Yes, Kyle? It's when you go to the doctor and you're sick. Okay, that's a good transition to start. And so insurance, medical insurance, however, is insurance that pays a large portion of your bill, and at the end, it ends up paying almost up to 80%, in which you have to pay the remaining 20%. So when looking at different health insurances, you're gonna want to pick the best health provider. And so to do that, you're gonna have to find a physician while you are still in good health. So like you don't want to be sick while you're looking for physicians, because you'll end up just getting stuck with whoever you can get. And so when looking for them, you want to see if they're a board certified family practice, and that they're allowed to have children, and that not what they're just saying is real, in which you need to check the physician's credentials, and that hopefully they did go to college, and that they do have a degree, and that they are talking about what they do know what they're actually talking about. In which, at the end, you want to, when picking the best healthcare provider, you want to pick the plan that's best for you. And so determining that, it's like at the end, you need to do an annual checkup. Like for you guys, it's normally just getting your flu shot or getting your shots for school, or just a yearly checkup. In that, when you do that, you have to pay every time you come a fee. And so picking what price you want to pick is a big thing for health consumers. And so in addition to that, there's health-related products like over-the-counter drugs. And so those are drugs or medicines sold directly to consumers without prescription or a healthcare professional, as opposed to having a prescription, and that would be sold to you with a valid prescription, because your doctor will just hand you one if you actually are sick and you need that medicine. But if you aren't sick, you shouldn't be taking that medicine, obviously. And then lastly, we're going to talk about is our health-related products, like skin products, which aren't over-the-counter. And that is like deodorant, moisturizing cream, sunscreen, acne cream. Or like hair products, like your razor, your clippers, your tweezers, or even oral products, like toothpaste and mouthwash. And so that's all I have for you guys today. But let's just recap real quick about our lesson on consumer health. And so first we started talking about what it's like being a consumer and how to be a good consumer. And so we had our perfect plan. We did the research. Then we moved on to different types of advertising, where I showed you those two forms of advertisement. One being the Pepsi commercial with Kiss, and then the other being the dancing babies with the children. That was actually a water bottle commercial. And then we moved lastly on to talking about healthcare and medical insurance and health insurance, and that choosing your right provider is the best option for you with your over-the-counter drugs and skin products. So I would just like to say thank you guys for listening to my presentation,